And we begin in Portland as the Portland Trailblazers and Damian Lillard met yesterday. And Blazers general manager Joe Cronin, he says, quote, "The Blazers are committed to building a winner around Dame." And so this was an opportunity for Damian Lillard to request for a trade out of Portland. A lot of people who are in the NBA, who cover the NBA, they expected for Dame to request to be traded out of Portland. It did not happen. And the Blazers general manager, Joe Cronin, says that the Blazers are committed to building a winner around Dame. So when it comes to Damian Lillard and this situation in Portland, first and foremost, I believe that ultimately Damian Lillard will get traded. But I feel like right now, what's going on between Dame and the Blazers is neither side wants to be the bad guy. So it's almost like if you're in a marriage, and y'all know how marriages are, and when they're toxic, it could even be a relationship. And you could be in a toxic relationship or a toxic marriage and know that you're headed for divorce, but neither party wants to necessarily break up with the other party because you don't want to be labeled the bad guy who called it quits, who gave up on the other person. That's what I feel like is what's going on in Portland right now. I believe Dame, he knows that this Portland Trailblazers basketball team is nowhere near a true championship contender. Nowhere near it. Like, the Portland Trailblazers are so far away from as being a championship contender. Like, they're not even close. They're not even a top 10 team in the Western Conference, let alone a top contending team in the Western Conference right now. And so, obviously, they had the number 3 overall pick. And so they had an opportunity to trade that pick. And Dame spoke about how he wanted some veterans and he wanted to be in a position to contend for a championship. And so the Blazers, they got lucky and they got the number 3 overall pick. And so I felt like, okay, if I'm the Blazers, I would have traded that number 3 overall pick for maybe a Paul George, maybe a Zion Williamson. And if you have Zion or a Paul George alongside Dame, you could be a contender in the Western Conference and possibly be a playoff team. I wouldn't have said that the Blazers with Zion or with Paul George would have been better than the Nuggets or the Suns or the Warriors, but I would have said that with Paul George or Zion and Dame, they could have been a playoff team for sure. They decided to keep the number 3 overall pick. They drafted Scoot Henderson, and Dame and the Blazers are on 2 different timelines. Dame and the Blazers are not compatible. And so we sit here today, and do I believe Dame is going to get traded at some point? I do believe he's going to get traded at some point. And honestly, as a Damian Lillard fan, because I've been a Dame fan for many, many years, I respect the hell out of Damian Lillard. I mean, you look at what Dame has been able to do in his career. Damian Lillard, in 11 seasons, he's averaged 25 points per game. And he's one of the more greatest shooters in NBA history. Like, outside of Steph Curry, have we ever seen a better shooter than Damian Lillard? Literally, when Dame crosses half court, Dame is a threat. The same way you have to give attention to Steph once he passes half court, you got to give that same attention to Dame time, because Dame Dollar is big time. And since he's been with the Portland Trailblazers, they had one big playoff run. They went to the Western Conference Finals the year when Kevin Durant was injured. They lost to the Golden State Warriors. They got swept. I was disappointed because that was an opportunity for Dame and CJ to possibly get the Blazers to the NBA Finals and, ultimately reach their goal. Because that was a team that had Nurkic, McCollum, Dame, and they had a solid team at that time. And it was pretty much Dame and CJ versus Steph and Clay. And Steph and Clay embarrassed Dame and CJ in that series. They embarrassed Dame and CJ. And I'm a Damian Lillard fan, but they embarrassed him. And that was his best opportunity to get to an NBA Finals. It didn't happen. And so now we sit here today, and I'm thinking, like, they talking about how Dame, he wants the Blazers to go out and sign Draymond. Even if the Blazers sign Draymond, that's not going to make them a championship contender. Would Draymond Green make the Blazers better? Absolutely. They would be a better basketball team with Draymond Green compared to what they are without Draymond Green. But does Draymond Green swing the needle to where they are a true contender in the Western Conference? I don't think so. Dame, Scoot Henderson, and Draymond Green with Anthony Simons, that's not enough. It's not enough. So I am begging on the Wise Guys Sports Show, hosted by yours truly, Tre Larkins. I'm begging Damian Lillard to be the bad guy for once and demand to be traded out of Portland. Dame, get the hell out of Portland quick, fast, and in a hurry. It's time. You've given 11 years to the city of Portland and to this organization. Your loyalty cannot be questioned at this point. And you can make a legitimate argument that Damian Lillard is the best player in Blazers history. Seriously. Clyde Drexler had a great run as well. He helped the Blazers reach an NBA Finals. They lost to Jordan. But you can make a legitimate argument that Damian Lillard is the greatest Portland Trailblazer of all time. Seriously. Now, just so for some context to show everyone how far the Blazers are from being a true championship contender, these are the 2022 ranks. In offensive rating, the Blazers ranked 18th in the NBA. The Denver Nuggets ranked 5th. And field goal percentage, the Blazers ranked 17th in the NBA. The Denver Nuggets ranked 1st in the NBA. In opponents' three-point field goal percentage, the Blazers ranked 29th in the NBA, and the Nuggets ranked 3rd. So that just gives you some context. But when you look at the standings in the Western Conference, this was the final standings in the West this year. The Blazers finished 13th. They finished 13th. Right now, the Blazers are not better than the Jazz. The Jazz just made a move for John Collins, and so they're going to be better next year. The Jazz will be better with Collins in Utah. The Dallas Mavericks still got Luka, possibly Kyrie returning back to their team, so the Blazers won't be better than the Mavericks. The Pelicans, if Zion can stay healthy, the trio of Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, and Zion Williamson, I love. They are also better than the Portland Trailblazers. Let's continue on. The Minnesota Timberwolves with Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert. They're better than the Blazers. The Lakers with LeBron and AD. They're better than the Lakers. The Warriors clearly are better than the Lakers. Better than the Blazers with Steph and Clay. Clippers, if Paul George and Kawhi are healthy, they are better. So, again, if Damian Lillard wants to position himself to compete for a championship, the best way to be able to do that is to demand to be traded. Get the hell out of Portland, Dame. Get out of there. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. I am begging Damian Lillard to get out of Portland. And so, with that being said, too, if Damian Lillard is ultimately traded, everyone's talking about him being traded to the Eastern Conference, and the three teams that are being mentioned are the Bucks, Celtics, and the Heat. And I've heard more about the Heat than any other team. I have heard about the Celtics and the Bucks, but I've heard a lot about the Miami Heat. Unlike everyone else, I actually believe the Milwaukee Bucks would be a better fit for Dame, and the Bucks could give the Blazers back something that they haven't had in a very long time. If the Blazers trade with the Miami Heat and they get back Tyler Hero, they don't really need Tyler Hero. Like, they got enough guards. They got Anthony Simons. They got Scoot Henderson now. Okay, they don't need guards. They need a forward who can shoot and be able to create off the dribble like a Chris Middleton. Could you imagine Dame time in Milwaukee alongside Giannis? Because Giannis and Dame would be a perfect fit. Perfect. Because Giannis' weakness and him not being able to hit perimeter shots is Dame's strength. It would be hard to stop Dame and Giannis. And I believe if the Milwaukee Bucks got their hands on Damian Lillard, they would instantly become the favorites in the East over the Celtics and over the Miami Heat. I think Dame and Giannis would be the perfect fit. And I feel like he will position himself to win a championship. And then again, for the Blazers, you'll have Chris Middleton with Scoot Henderson, with Anthony Simons. And I think the Bucks give the Blazers more of what they need compared to the Miami Heat. I think the Miami Heat will give Tyler Hero up, but the Blazers don't need more guards. They don't need more guards. I know it's another guard I'm missing on their team that I can't think of his name, but I'm as somebody that had a pretty good year last year on their team, and I'm trying to think of him. It's Shaded Sharp. That's who it is. Shaded Sharp. He was on their team as well. But yeah, I just think that the Milwaukee Bucks will give them a better training package as well. And I would love to see Dame alongside Giannis for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think that would make the Bucks contenders and possibly the favorites in the Eastern Conference. And then if they can keep Jrue Holiday in Milwaukee, and Jrue Holiday would also make up for Damian Lillard's weaknesses on the defensive side of the floor. Dame is not a great defender, but if you still got Jrue Holiday would be able to guard the opposing team's best guard. So if you have to give up Jrue Holiday and Middleton for Dame, I still think it would be a great move for the Milwaukee Bucks. But if you can keep Jrue Holiday and have that trio with Holiday, Dame, and Giannis, I definitely think that's a championship contender in the East. For sure. So those are my thoughts on the Damian Lillard situation out in Portland. Again, I think that he will get traded at some point. He just doesn't want to be labeled the bad guy. He doesn't want to be labeled the bad guy. And I believe that general manager Joe Cronin doesn't want to be the person who trades Damian Lillard out of Portland. So this is standoff at this point. It's a standoff because there's no way in hell that Dame believes that this Portland Trailblazers team will be a championship contender anytime soon. Dame's forgotten more basketball than I know. And I know, me personally, as a basketball analyst and the person who watches the game, I know the Blazers are not close to being a championship contender. So I know if I know, Damian Lillard damn sure knows. So those are my thoughts on that situation.